I think it's okay. So basically, Nasir Saab said to me, he was very reluctant to speak. To be honest, he was very reluctant to speak. But then Mansoor left. I don't know if Nusrat was there that day.
No, I wasn't there. Amir
No,
was there.
Nusrat was not there.
In fact,
Arabi.
before you came in, I had
Yes.
tried very hard to do this, to interview
Amir
him.
Khan.
You know, I kind of followed him around with a, a dictaphone for a couple of days. He refused.
It's 2001.
Yeah. So no, I was very keen because see, he had told me so many stories about his life, So I felt that that should be recorded somewhere, by someone. For example, I was an assistant with him for 4 years, so I spent a lot of time with him at that time. So when we would drive from Carter Road, then he would point out the house that he used to live in as a paying guest when he first came to Bombay, and he would tell me that I had no money, so I used to eat boiled eggs because that is the cheapest thing. So he would buy 2 boiled eggs and just boil them and eat them. So for the first the first few months that he was here, when he came, he didn't know anyone. He was the family was also quite upset with him that he was planning to join films. So the few family members who were in Bombay were not very happy with the fact that Nasir Saab was wanting to be in the films. And I remember him telling me that the family was so upset that they actually told Maulana Saab, Maulana Azad, who's my great grand uncle, and Nasir Saab was made to go and meet him so that Maulana Saab could put some sense into him कि भाई इसको समझाओ ये फिल्मों में जाना चाह रहा है. And in the entire family it was Maulana Saab, Maulana Azad, who said to Jajan, just don't listen to anyone. You do what you feel like doing. So I had heard so many stories from him. In fact, you were talking about Teesri Manzil. Teesri Manzil is some amazing, unbelievable stories about Teesri Manzil. I shouldn't share this one. Teesri Manzil actually, originally Goldie Uncle was not directing. And Shami Uncle was not in the film originally. It was Dev Saab who was playing the lead, and Nasir Saab was directing it. He had the story, screenplay, dialogue written by Nasir Saab, and he was going to direct it. And Goldie Uncle was directing a film called Baharon Ke Sapne for NH Films. Baharon Ke Sapne was a script that Nasir Saab had written during his college days and about the educated unemployed. It's a very offbeat kind of a film. And Goldie Uncle was making Baharon Ke Sapne with Rajesh Khanna and Asha ji, and Teesri Manzil was Dev Saab and Asha aunty. And Nasir Saab was directing that, Goldie Uncle was directing this. So apparently one day Dev Saab, I think, said something, and it was at Bhalla Bungalow. If you know where Bhalla Bungalow is on Pali Hill, which now there's a Sandhu building coming up over there. There used to be Bhalla's bungalow over there, and there was a huge film party where Sadhna ji was getting engaged to Nair Saab. So the entire industry was there and all that. And that night at the engagement party, Nasir Saab and Dev Saab came to blows. They were a little high also. And so they came to blows actually, because apparently Nasir Saab overheard him saying that नासिर जो है वो मेरे साथ बड़ी फिल्म बना रहा है, कलर फिल्म है, और गोल्डी को उसने कोई ब्लैक एंड व्हाइट फिल्म दे दी है, कोई नया लड़का है राजेश करके उसके साथ बना रहा है. तो नासिर got very upset and उनका कुछ लफड़ा हो गया. अच्छा, I've checked this with Sadhna ji also. I asked her, I said, did it happen? She said, yeah. So that we pulled apart and all that. I can never imagine Nasir Saab trying to hit someone. And for that matter, I can't imagine Dev Saab also trying to hit someone. They're both such gentle souls and so sophisticated. But khair, hota hai. So the next day, apparently Nasir Saab called Goldie Uncle to the office and said, your brother is saying this. So now you're going to direct Teesri Manzil and I'm going to direct Baharon Ke Sapne. But Dev is not in Teesri Manzil. And then he called up Shami Uncle. And I had checked this with Shami Uncle also. He called up Shami Uncle. And because before that, they had had a bit of an altercation of Shami Uncle and Nasir. And that's how they got back together, Shami Uncle and Nasir Saab. And that's how this film was finally made, with Shami Uncle in it instead of Dev Saab, who was originally there. And Goldie Uncle directing it, and Nasir Saab directing Baharon Ke Sapne. So he had told me so many stories, and I thought it's very interesting to know, ये film हम देखते हैं उसके पीछे क्या हुआ था, क्या हुआ था उसके पीछे. So I was very keen that it should be recorded somewhere,
And that was something invaluable that happened, because had you not goaded Nasreen to do this, My first reference point for my research was that interview, which you urged her to do it, and then they were kind enough to pass on that audio file to me. And there are such nuggets about his early life, his early years, and the fact there's this one joke which is there. This is how actually the book also begins. That someone asked him, this was in class 10 matriculation examination. He said, "Gul khilaya tumne aur pass ho gaye." So the point is that this is very important for journalists who set out. Archiving is very important, and I owe so much of this book to that interview, because it really provided so many insights about his childhood, which something which even Mansoor, Nusrat or Amir would not be able to tell me. His early years, his formative years.
It's absolutely true that now when people look back and see that so many films are so beautifully made and are really intriguing to know how they were done, why they were done, and those people are not with us to ask very specific questions. And I think it's very important that Akshay is actually doing this book so that you can actually know something, and something is recorded, because we hope that not just now, but 20 years down the line, 40 years down the line, these 3 months will still be celebrated. Now, going back to Nasir Saab's family, why did his family not approve of him joining films? Do you know why?
I guess at that time almost everyone felt कि यार film में जो है वो is not a good place to be. So most families at that time would react. I mean, even at my time, they were my own family, Nasir Saab and Abbajan were telling me, Chashran Abbajan, कि नहीं फिल्मों में मत आओ. They were both filmmakers. They're telling me not to be in films.
That's how.
But I think for actually in my case the reason was different. In my case the reason was that Chashran and Abbajan both knew, even Chachijan and Ammi, they all felt that it's such a volatile profession. One minute you're up there, the next minute you're not. You have no certainty, no security. So they wanted us to be more stable in life. Go into a profession which is more stable: engineer, doctor, chartered accountant. In any case, I would never have managed to do any of those 3 things. but उनके मन में ये बात थी कि कोई अच्छा professional management कर लो, ये कर लो. Don't get into film, because they didn't want us, I think, to go through the uncertainties and the trauma of the volatile business that we are in. So they were trying to be protective actually. But in his case, I think when he was coming here, it was more कि नाक कटा, हाँ shame था, नाक कट जाएगी फिल्मों में.
It wasn't an honorable profession.
Yes, but now it's become a little too honorable, I think. I would also ask you that now, both, I think Mansoor for a while and Amir, of course, worked as his assistant. And I would like to know whether he was a very different man on set from what he was at home.
Not in my experience. The only thing new I learned about him because I had spent all my life with him, and the first time I started working with him, I found he's as relaxed. He had a fantastic sense of humor. Shashank had a fantastic sense. So always cracking jokes, seeing the humor in everything. And on set, the atmosphere used to be very relaxed. There used to be no stress and tension. Ki log chilla rahe hain, ye ho raha hai, wo raha hai. It used to be a very relaxed atmosphere. The only thing I noticed which was different, which I felt for the first time, is that he's got amazing leadership qualities. So when he's on set, he's like a tiger here. He's got amazing, leadership qualities. People love him, and they love to follow him, and they trust him. So his entire team was very trusting of him, and he was a great leader. I think other than that, it was very similar for me, whether he's at work or at home. Yeah.
Was he very decisive?
Yes, he was very decisive, and he was very clear what he wanted. And when I say leadership qualities, it's not just being decisive; it's also being able to command. And you don't have to shout to command, but being able to lead the entire team, because filmmaking is all about that. And he was a naturally good leader actually.
And Mansoor, do you think in his work, did he ever see his work as making compromises?
No, not at all. In fact, that extends with what Amir was saying about being decisive. For Karwa, they actually very rarely did my dad put his finger on a wrong tune, and they actually recorded and shot a full song for Karwa, and I could see that throughout he was not happy. I remember this vaguely, you know. And he came back after it was shot and everybody saw it, and he said, "I'm throwing this out." So he's very decisive, and so he wouldn't compromise. And they shot the whole song, you know, and that is Charti Jawani. That is the final song. That is the situation, sorry. So he went back to Panchamangal, and now Panchamangal had to outdo that. You know, so it was something in the tune, but he didn't want to tell him that. But the tune didn't, so he didn't compromise at all. He reshot the whole thing, yeah. A new song.
And Akshay, when you started working on his films, do you
Let me
see?
give you one more example of his uncompromising nature. There was a film being made called Zabardast, which eventually got made later on. But when it was first announced, it was not Mushir Riaz who was producing it. It was Nasir Saab who was producing it. And the cast was Dilip Kumar, Dharmendra, Rishi Uncle, and
Raj Kiran.
And there was Asha Aunty, there was an actress from the south, I think Sharda.
Yes,
I
you
want to say.
mentioned Sharda.
And then there was Zeenat Aman, there was Neetu Ji. So it was like a star-studded, you know, film. And this was immediately after he had made Yadon Ki Barat, Hum Kisi Se Kam Nahi,
After.
and now it was Zabardast. It was huge. I mean, that announcement was like, there's an earthquake coming, you know, like that. It was big. And Yusuf Saab was, you know, Dilip Kumar was acting after some time. He shot 4 reels of that film. And he was not happy about something. So he shelved the film. Now that was a big step for him to do, which is just another example of him not being, you know, not wanting to compromise. So when he was not happy, he decided not to make the film.
But also one must say that people who produce their own films have this luxury.
Well, you know, it's not that. It's an attitude. You see, it doesn't matter how much money you have or how little money you have. What matters is your attitude. And I think in his attitude, he was very clear that he didn't want to compromise on anything.